Hello everyone and welcome back to One Soccer. I'm your host for today, Josh Deming, and we are back with another episode of our Canadians Abroad series where each and every week we keep you up to date with our Canadians playing abroad. This week's update will be from April 29th until May the 2nd. There's a lot of interesting storylines, some good matches, some bad matches. We're going to get into it all, so if you guys are excited, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, and let's get into the update now. We had two Canadian strikers going head-to-head over the weekend. We had Jonathan David versus Ike Ugbo in Liga action. We're going to take a look at Jonathan David and see how he did as he started in the match and played 70 minutes as a striker in a 4-4-2 system for Lille. David had 26 touches, one shot, completed 80% of his passes, and he also drew 2 fouls. It ended up being another poor performance from Jonathan David as well as Lille, and this has been the trend of late. They finished the match with 9 men and gave away 3 penalties, all of which were converted. Lille lost 3-0 to Troyes and now have a record of 13, 12, and 10 on 51 points and 10th place in the table. David's scoreless streak now increases to 9 matches for Lille and 12 in all competitions. The end of the season can't come fast enough for David. Fabrizio Romano put up a tweet that said big clubs are still in the hunt for Jonathan David and that the price tag has been set at 50 million euros. We're hoping to see Jonathan David find the back of the net soon and at least a couple more times before the end of the season to hopefully get a little bit more interest. Now taking a look at the other side of that result, we're going to take a look at Ike Ugbo, who had a much better day. Ugbo started the match and played 67 minutes as a striker in a 5-4-1 system. Ugbo only had 10 touches in this match, 2 shots, but he did win himself a penalty. He stepped up to take the penalty and he scored it, bringing his tally to now 4 goals in 11 matches since joining on loan. With the 3-0 win over Lille, Troyes now sit 14th place in the table with a 9-9-17 record on 36 points. They are 5 points above Saint Etienne in 18th place, which is the final relegation playoff position. Hopefully Ugbo can continue his goal scoring form, and if he does, he's definitely going to be a big factor in helping Troyes stay up this season. Moving along now to Alphonso Davies, who was in action over the weekend. Davies started and played all 90 minutes as a left wing back in a 3-5-2 system. Davies had 69 touches, 3 recoveries, he completed 82% of his passes, 1 interception, and he had 2 successful dribbles. Bayern went on to lose the match 3-1 to sit top of the table with a 24-3-5 record. It was a really poor match from Davies and Bayern. Davies didn't have much of an impact on the match. He struggled on the defensive side of the ball, closing down players and marking some of the Mainz players. The motivation just simply was not there for Bayern after wrapping up the title, and Mainz wanted it more. They were deserved winners, and with 2 matches remaining, Bayern are hoping to finish the season with a much better performance than that. It's just one of those things when you've already wrapped up the title, there just didn't seem to be a lot of motivation in this match, and they were truthfully outplayed, so credit to Mainz, but I have a feeling that Bayern will finish strong. Stefan Eustaquio started for Porto on the bench over the weekend, and he was substituted into the match on the 88th minute to help Porto secure a 4-2 win. Porto now with that result sit first place in the table with a 27-4-1 record, 6 points ahead of Sporting. Braga ended their 58 consecutive match without a defeat record. As it stands, Porto are just 1 point away from winning the league title as they take on Benfica next weekend. They also have a cup final to play on May 22nd, so Eustaquio is going to have the opportunity to pick up 2 pieces of silverware within a couple weeks. Eustaquio might have wanted to be able to break into the starting 11 a little bit quicker, though it's probably expected. He made the January move. This was a team that was absolutely flying in the league. They are a really impressive side, and it's always going to take a little bit of time. He's laying down the groundwork and will hopefully have a good opportunity to break into that starting 11 consistently next season. Taking a look now at Tajon Buchanan, who was in action over the weekend. Buchanan started and played 84 minutes as a left wing back in a 3-5-2 system. He completed 78% of his passes. He wasn't able to create any shots for himself. He had 49 touches, 5 recoveries, and overall was a little quiet throughout the match as Tajon and Club Brugge went on to draw 0-0 against Anderlecht. With that result, they now sit second place in the table with a 1-1-0 record on 40 points in the playoff championship group. They are 3 points behind league leaders, who they are going to play back-to-back matches in the next 2 weeks. It's going to have a huge impact on whether or not Club Brugge are going to win the league title. It wasn't the most impactful match for Tajon. He wasn't as involved as he would like to be, especially after coming off that really strong performance for Club Brugge last weekend where he scored his first goal for them, but he's starting to do the right things a little bit more. The consistency is getting there, and I'm sure the next 2 matches are going to be big for him, and we're going to see Tajon Buchanan in good form. Jessie Fleming's recent performances earned her a start, as over the weekend, she started and played all 90 minutes as a center mid in a 3-5-2 system. She had 3 shots, completed 78% of her passes, had 2 key passes, 49 touches, and 7 recoveries, as Chelsea went on to win 1-0 against Birmingham City to sit first place in the table with a 17-2-2 record. They are 4 points ahead of Arsenal, however, Arsenal do have a match in hand. It was just going to be a matter of time, but Jessie Fleming's performances clearly indicated that she deserved a start, and she got it and she delivered. A few Canadians were going head-to-head in the Women's Champions League semi-finals as Lyon took on PSG. In the first leg, Lyon came out 3-2 winners at home, and everything was to play for in the second leg. Atiba Buchanan started on the bench and was substituted into the match on the 86th minute to help see the result out, which she did as Lyon went on to win away from home 2-1 to win on aggregate 5-3. Lyon will now take on Barcelona in the final on May 21st as Barcelona also won 5-3 on aggregate, eliminating Wolfsburg from the competition. On the other side of that result, Ashley Lawrence started the match and played all 90 minutes as a right back in a 4-3-3 system. She had a good performance as well. Jordan Heidema was an unused sub. It's very disappointing for PSG as they were hoping to reach this final, but they do have 3 matches remaining in the league to try to overturn a 5-point deficit and help tip PSG to the league title. What a remarkable achievement from Atiba Buchanan going to this Champions League final like this. It's going to be very exciting to see. Hopefully she starts, but regardless, this has been a great season for a very decorated player. Moving along now to Atiba Hutchinson, who was in action over the weekend. Hutchinson started the match as a center mid in a 3-4-3 system and proved once again why age is just a number. Hutchinson played all 90 minutes in the match, had 2 shots, 4 key passes, 56 touches, 7 recoveries, and picked up 2 assists. The first assist was a flick-on header from a free kick, which was then tapped into the back of the net, and the second one was a gorgeous long ball to pick out the run of Nkudu, who then poked it home. On top of that, he ran 11.1 kilometers at the age of 39. Unbelievable from Hutchinson once again as Besiktas went on to win the match 3-2 to sit 6th in the table with a 14-12-9 record. Cyle Larin also started for Besiktas over the weekend, starting as a left wing in that 3-4-3 system. Larin had 2 shots, 33 touches. He missed a 1v1 as he was alone in on goal against the keeper, and he would have been disappointed not to score it, but it was a good return to the starting 11 for Larin. Larin will hope to be able to build on this performance and get a few more opportunities to start before the season comes to an end. He knows he's going to have a lot of clubs looking at him, and he wants to be in as best form as he possibly can be before potentially signing for his next club. Moving along now to take a look at Richie Laryea, who started on the bench for Forest over the weekend. He was subbed into the match on the 83rd minute and played as a right wing back in a 3-4-1-2 system. It's been a trend when Laryea is substituted into the match, he goes to the right wing back position, and Spence switches sides to the left wing back position. Richie had an impact on the match, having a few decent runs down the right-hand side and almost setting up a goal if not for a good block from the Swansea defender. Forest went on to win 5-1 and sit with a 23-10-11 record, 3 points off of Bournemouth. Steve Cooper deserves a massive amount of respect for completely turning around the fortunes of this Forest side this season, taking them from basically dead last in the championship all the way up to a potential return to the Premier League, because if Forest win their last 2 matches of the season, Richie Laryea and company will be playing in the Premier League next season. Samuel Adekugbe was in action over the weekend, starting and playing all 90 minutes as a left back in a 4-2-3-1 system. Hatayspor went on to lose that match 1-0, but Adekugbe did have a solid performance, having 3 clearances, 8 recoveries, 88 touches, and completed 48 of 54 passes. Those are the type of performances we've been expecting and seeing from Adekugbe all season long, but with that result, Hatayspor sit 10th place in the table with a 14-7-14 record. Taking a look now at Junior Hoilett, who was in action over the weekend. He started as a right mid in a 4-4-2 system, playing 90 minutes. Hoilett had 54 touches, created 1 big chance, had 4 key passes, 1 shot, and completed 18 of 25 accurate passes. Reading went on to lose their match 1-0 to West Brom and sit 21st in the table with a 13-8-23 record on 41 points. Not much to play for right now for Reading as they were able to avoid relegation, and they're hoping just to finish the season on a high. Milan Borjan was between the sticks over the weekend as he started in goal for Red Star as they went on to win 3-0, Borjan keeping a clean sheet, and with that result they sit first place in the championship group with a 29-4-1 record on 91 points. Partizan still remain in second place with a 28-5-1 record on 89 points. And we've been talking about this for weeks now. This is one of the most exciting title races in Europe, and it is absolutely going to go down to the very last match of the season. Moving along now, we're going to take a look at Liam Miller, who was in action over the weekend. Miller started and played 67 minutes as a left attacking mid in a 4-2-3-1 system. Miller completed 77% of his passes, had 1 shot, 30 touches, and was unfortunately subbed off due to an injury, which later determined that Liam Miller will miss the rest of the season after suffering a double fracture of the ulna radius in the forearm. A disappointing end to a true breakout season for Miller, and if that wasn't bad enough, Basel went on to lose the match 2-0 against Zurich to sit second place in the table with a 14-14-4 record on 56 points. We wish Liam Miller a quick and speedy recovery, as this is devastating news to receive, obviously leading up into a World Cup year. Derek Cornelius was back in action over the weekend as he started and played all 90 minutes as a center back in a 4-2-3-1 system, as Panathinaikos won their first match of the relegation group 1-0 to sit with a 10-6-15 record and now 4th place in the Greek League relegation group. Panathinaikos have been very interesting so far, losing their first 3 matches in the relegation group to the 3 bottom clubs. They then picked up a draw, and they have now defeated group leaders away from home. They have definitely been wildcards lately. Something that hasn't been a wildcard though is Derek Cornelius, who has been in great form all season long, and it looks very likely that Panathinaikos are going to sign the on-loan Whitecap player. However, if they do sign him, it's more than likely that they're going to flip him for a profit. But regardless, wherever Cornelius is going to be playing next season, I'm hoping it's in Europe because this has been a big step for him, and I think it's been a successful one. Scott Kennedy was in action over the weekend. He started as a center back and played 90 minutes in a 4-4-2 system. Kennedy completed 67% of his passes, had 46 touches, had 5 clearances, 3 interceptions, and 8 recoveries. It was a solid performance from Kennedy as Jan Regensburg went on to draw 1-1 against Dynamo Dresden to sit 10th place in the table with a 10-10-12 record. After starting on the bench for a few matches for Scott Kennedy, he has definitely fought his way back into the starting 11, and now he's just hoping to see out the season on a high. It was the battle of the Canadian keepers in the MLS over the weekend as Dane St. Clair took on Maxime Crépeau, and Dane St. Clair started in goal for Minnesota United, having 42 touches on the ball, 7 recoveries. He made 4 saves with an expected XG of 2.39, but unfortunately lost the match to LAFC 2-0, and with that result sits 6th place in the West with a 4-2-3 record. Maxime Crépeau started in goal once again for LAFC over the weekend, as in the match he went on to make 1 save. There was an XG of 0.72. He completed 14 of 17 passes. He was 5 for 10 on his long balls, and he had 27 touches, keeping the clean sheet as LAFC went on to beat Minnesota United 2-0 to sit 1st place in the West with a 7-1-1 record. This start to the season for Crépeau is just simply sublime. There's no other word really to describe it, as LA continued to be the team to beat in the MLS as they sit top of the league with 22 points. Christine Sinclair was back in action over the weekend as she started and played 81 minutes as a center attacking mid in a 3-4-1-2 system. Sinclair had 2 shots, 2 key passes, 44 touches, and she scored a goal. Janine Beckie also started for the Thorns in that match, playing as a striker, going 45 minutes before getting substituted at halftime. Portland were convincing winners over Kansas City Current, winning 3-0 to start the season with a 1-0-0 record. There were a couple of Canadians that did feature for Kansas City Current, as Scott and Pickett were substituted into the match on the 45th minute and 65th minute respectively. Charles Byrm was back in the action again, as over the weekend he started and played 82 minutes as a right wing in a 3-4-3 system, as Eindhoven went on to win the match 1-0. Byrm was solid throughout the match, having 31 touches, 4 shots, 1 successful dribble, and was 5 for 5 on successful tackles. Eindhoven sit 3rd place in the table with a 21-7-9 record, and they will be looking to gain promotion through the playoffs. Simon Colyn started in a new position over the weekend as he started and played all 90 minutes as a center attacking mid in a 4-2-3-1. He had 27 touches, completed 88% of his passes, had 1 shot, 3 key passes, as young PSV drew 1-1 in the match to sit 12th place in the table with an 11-10-16 record. It was nice seeing Colyn playing in the 10 position, as he usually plays as a 9. Dropping back a little bit deeper saw him more involved in the play. You saw his passing percentage, which would look really good, a couple key passes in there, so this would be very curious to see if he might make that transition somewhere down the line. Richie Ennin was in action over the weekend, and he started and played 89 minutes as a striker in a 3-5-2 system, as Nizhny Novgorod went on to draw Arsenal 2-2. Ennin had 28 touches, 2 shots, 5 recoveries, and completed 87% of his passes, as Nizhny Novgorod sit 11th place in the table with a 7-8-12 record, and they are sitting just above the relegation playoff places. Stefan Mitrovic started over the weekend playing as a left wing in a 4-3-3 system. He played all 90 minutes as Rudnicki went on to draw 0-0. It was a quiet match for both Steph and truthfully everyone. It was a real stalemate performance, as with that result they sit 5th place in the championship group with an 11-15-8 record on 48 points. With some international friendlies and the Nations League coming up for the Canadian men's national team, I'm very curious to see if Stefan Mitrovic is going to get a look. He's been the most impressive dual national in my opinion. Serbia, Canada are looking at him, and he's absolutely been thriving right now. So we're going to have to wait and see if Canada do give him a look and he does get that call up. Marc-Anthony Kaye had quite the performance for the Colorado Rapids over the weekend as he started and played all 90 minutes as a CDM in a 4-2-3-1 system. Kaye completed 77% of his passes, had 2 recoveries, 50 touches, 1 interception. He hit the woodwork once. He had 3 key passes, 3 shots, and he scored a beautiful late goal, cutting onto his left foot and bending it past the keeper as Colorado Rapids went on to win 2-0 over the Portland Timbers to sit 8th place in the West with a 3-3-3 record. With that incredible performance, Marc-Anthony Kaye was named to the MLS Team of the Week once again. That's all the time we have for on this week's edition of Canadians Abroad. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, as always, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub as well, because we are still on the road to 50,000 subscribers. So if you want to help us get there, be sure to drop that sub and subscribe over to One Soccer as well if you want to stay up to date with all things Canadian soccer. It's the best place to do it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and until next time guys, take care and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers friends.